This video is brought to you by Scopic.com. Get yours now.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is Phil from underKG.com and this is the Galaxy On7 2016, known as the Galaxy J7 Prime 2016 in some regions. And before we get to the details of this phone, it's a very unique phone. It doesn't have all the features that you expect it to have, but it boasts some of the unique, outstanding features that you never expected from such a mid-range phone. So let's get started with what it does not have, because reasons. To start with, what it does not have is the display. Yes, it does have the full HD panel, but it has a very weird saturation. The blues really pop, the red is really dull, and it does not pop in the way that is pretty. It pops in a very fluorescent and unnatural way. And then the screen itself is not that bright, so the display, the screen, the panel, that's what is missing as the first thing. And the second thing that is missing are the sensors. Not only one sensor, but bunch of sensors. I just talked about the brightness, and you even have to manually adjust that, because in the position where it's supposed to have auto, it has outdoors. That means it's going to boost up the brightness for 15 minutes, because it does not know how bright or dark outside is. It does not have the sensor dedicated for that. And then there is gyro, so you cannot watch the VR, of course not. And YouTube 360. So if you want to watch the 360 movies or want to play a game that utilizes gyro sensor, i.e. Pokemon Go, then you simply cannot. And we're not done here. You don't even get to have the compass. Why compass? Are you going hunting for a mountain or something? No, not really. But you also use that for the maps. That means your phone is not going to tell you which is north and which is south on the map. So you cannot use it as a proper navigating tool. And just like any other cheaper Samsung, it does not have the haptic feedback on the buttons and the keyboards. And then there are no backlights behind those buttons. The next big thing that is missing is, surprisingly, the cameras. On the spec sheet, it does have two bright cameras. And when done right, they take pretty good photos, but they are surprisingly shaky. This is a crucial factor in mobile photography. It's not only about how much pixels or the detail that you have in your photo, but also how much of a clearer photo due to the stabilization, and the On7 simply has none. And the last big thing that is missing is the charging speed. It charges via micro USB, that's not surprising, but it takes 2.5 hours to fully charge up the battery. There are so many phones with a cheaper price and the quick charge support, and if you're not going to put a Qualcomm Quick Charge 2.0 or 3.0, then you should at least put 2A input for your phone, but Samsung didn't take any, and it comes with 1.5A of the charger. I know that was too harsh, so let's go to the things that it's really good with. Let's start with the build quality. It's a full metal design, so it has a very iPhone 5-ish slate color-ish back that is built very well. It does not even have the camera bumps, so that's really good factor for a cheaper device. And with the Exynos 7870, this is really snappy. It has this very spacious 3 gigs of RAM, and the app performance opening the app, closing, and opening another is pretty fast for a cheaper device like this. The fingerprint reader on the home button is pretty accurate and fast as well. And if you're not happy with that 16 gigs of storage, you can add that further through the micro SD card slot with your SIM card tray. And it has a dedicated SIM card, so even if you have a dual SIM model, you can still have your micro SD card along with the secondary SIM card. Second to the last is that speaker placement. It has a speaker on the very top right-hand side. And this is the location where you are very unlikely to block the speaker. Usually they are under there, hence getting blocked by your palm when you're watching a movie, or there, still getting blocked by your palm. But this is a position very hard to block, and it gives pretty rich sound. It doesn't have much detail, but the volume itself is loud enough to fill in the room. And to make things even better, it's got earphone jack on the bottom, which is my favorite place because when you're holding your phone, the cable goes right there instead of hanging on top of there. And on top of that, the call quality is great, just like any other Samsung phones. Now we're at the final destination, the battery. It's got 3300 mAh of battery, which is not that big, but considering its specs and thanks to that great optimization, it lasts 7 hours of screen on time. You might think that it's not long enough, but as I'm always on the LTE network, never Wi-Fi, and I have brighter than medium brightness, and I surf the web all the time consuming a lot of battery, this is a spectacular battery coming from a mid-ranger like this. While it's true that lack of quick charge makes it painful to fill up the battery, I'm ready to sacrifice that much for this epic battery. Just as I summed up, the Galaxy On7 2016 is a very weird phone. Just like communism, it doesn't have the things that you expect it to have, and it has things that you never expected from such a mid-ranger. Therefore, the On7 isn't for everyone. It's missing some of the very crucial factors. To me, lack of compass, thus not being able to utilize a map fully, is definitely a deal breaker. But if you're okay with that, if you're okay with lack of sensors and a weird screen, then it's a very snappy, very long-lasting, and reasonably priced phone. You should analyze your usage patterns, and if you do not use those features, then this should be yours. I like it especially much for its epic battery, and some people would be very very happy with its performance. So that was the Galaxy On7 2016, aka the J7 Prime 2016. We hope it helped, and if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments, and don't forget to meet us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. We'll see you guys later. Ciao.